This is Garis, Masculist, MGTOW flyers. That is 2-3 page essays on the themes of Masculism and MGTOW. Written and read aloud by Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. This is flyer number 176, entitled MGTOW/Masculist Consciousness Raising of High School Males. Description. This flyer talks about the need to increase the level of consciousness raising of MGTOW/Masculist ideas in high school males around the world, so that young men can avoid the traps set by fluffy crappers to manslave young men to pay for fluffy parasites. The flyer itself. MGTOW/Masculist Consciousness Raising of High School Males. Young men at high school need to have their MGTOW/Masculist consciousness raised so that they do not fall into the trap set by their fluffy crapper classmates, enticing them into marriage, paying for a middle-class house that their fluffy wives can raise their kids in, and a decade later, when she's bored with him, she can take him to the fluffy feminist-dominated divorce court system and rob him of his kids, his house, and force him to pay her child support and alimony for the rest of her fluffy, parasitic life. One married man in 4, roughly, will be financially massacred in the US by these fluffy feminist-dominated divorce courts. This is such a massive gender injustice against men that it screams out to be reformed. Young men need to be very conscious that this murder of men is taking place on a daily basis at the rate of over 1 million men a year in the US, having their lives ruined. The MGTOW/Masculist message of don't marry, don't have kids, spend your money on yourself, avoid fluffies like the plague, don't allow yourself to be manslaved by a fluffy parasite, end quote, is not yet fully known amongst male high schoolers. Admittedly, 70% of young men under 35 in the US and Japan refuse to marry and refuse to have kids, but there's still a lot of ignorance about the fluffy crapper nature of most high school females. If you have a look at the following link, you will see that about 2/3 of US male and female high school graduates studied chemistry, and about 40% of both sexes studied physics. Only about 15% of both sexes studied calculus. And here's the link. So mces.ed.gov/pubs 2015/2015-075.pdf. You can see that link in the text of this flyer. Young men need to study more math so that they can enter a STEM field at university, so that they can become good FIPS as adults, earning good salaries, so that until the gender laws and society are made men fair, they can earn hard, save hard, invest hard, not marry, not have kids, avoid fluffies like the plague, and save up enough to retire early in life, say in their 40s, and then spend the second half of their life doing what they love as archers, that's ARC, after retirement careerers. That's what I am. I'm an archer. With only about 15%, that's 15%, of high school males and females studying calculus, that leaves 85% of female high schoolers who do not study high school calculus, who then will be excluded from studying a STEM field at university or one of the professions, so that instead they will study fluffy crap and end up with a fluffy crap diploma, making them a fluffy in their 30s, unable to afford to pay for a middle-class house on their own fluffy crap salary. So then they will look around desperately for some gullible manslave to parasite upon, hoping that he will pay for the house she wants to raise her kids in. To avoid the fluffy crapper trap, high school males need to be taught the above ideas so that they do not have to learn the hard way, that is, by being exploited by a fluffy parasite, being divorced, having his kids ripped from him, his house stolen by his fluffy ex-wife, and made poor by having to pay her child support and alimony so she can continue being a fluffy parasite off his money after the divorce the way she did before the divorce. High school males need to be taught the basics of the gender injustices against men so that they can avoid the fluffy traps. High school males need to learn a lesson from young British males who, according to a recent survey, care more about the fitness level of prospective girlfriends than the woman's looks, which was the top criterion. This is a healthy development. High school males need to be taught enough about the gender injustices against men that they become angry and then organize collectively to change society, to change the social expectations on young women, so that both parents and teachers teach their daughters and female students to be both FIPs and emos, that is, to be financially independent persons and to expect to have equal moral obligations, EMO, with men. That is, they believe in equality between the sexes, not in the current genocentric culture that the fluffy feminists so hypocritically push. A blatant example of this fluffy feminist hypocrisy is the lack of the that's P-A-R-E-R, paternity rejection right, which would give men the right to reject an unwanted pregnancy, the same way women have the MARA, aka abortion right. High school males need to have their consciousness raised so that they refuse to be judged as future manslaves. They refuse to be seen as exploitable males by their fluffy crapper classmates. They need to see MGTOW/Masculism as a rebellion by men against working for women. Thanks to the contraceptive pill, women choose to have 0, 1 or 2 kids, hence have a career window of some 40 plus years. The Masculists assert that, quote, now that women can work, they must work. Anything else is exploitation of the labour of men. Manslavery is slavery. Slavery is a war issue. The Masculist MGTOWs are at war against the fluffies. High school males need to be taught that the primary political goal of the Masculists is to wipe out fluffydom by wiping out fluffies, not by killing them, but simply ignoring them totally so that they rot on the shelf to extinction. High school males who are MGTOW/Masculists are able to retaliate very effectively against the young princess mentality of high school women. These high school MGTOW/Masculists are intellectually armed. They know what terms like MGTOW, Masculist, fluffy, fluffy crapper, FIP, emo, para, twetwef, etc. mean, and can lash back at fluffy feminists if they feel the need. Most feminists are fluffies, so are hypocrites. They want equal rights for women, but are not emos. That is, they support the genocracy and are opposed to true equality of rights between the sexes. They oppose the para and the principle of emo, for example. High school males need to be taught that they have tremendous power. They can force women to be FIP emos, or these women rot on the shelf. Until the gender laws are made men fair, the best that a woman can hope for from a man is to twetwef with him, that is, have a sexual relationship with him, with both having their own apartments and both being FIPs. When the relationship ends, they walk back to their own apartments, cost-free to the man. Twetwefing, in brackets, equals 2A, 2F, equals 2 apartments, 2 FIPs. Keeps women being nice to men, no nagging, no withholding sex, no moulding him the way she wants. Otherwise, he dumps her. There will be no baby, no marriage, no money to her. She is expected to be a FIP. A MGTOW/Masculist will not go near a fluffy and will check carefully the FIP status of a prospective girlfriend. If she's not FIP emo, then she will be rejected. As high school males learn MGTOW/Masculist ideas, they will express them, and increasingly collectively, and thus change society. They will put enormous moral pressure on their fluffy crapper classmates, telling them, you will not have a baby. The supply of manslavable men is drying up. We are waking up to the massive gender injustices against men, and we are angry. We want changes, and we have the power to force these changes. If we have to, we will wipe out whole populations by continuing to reject paternity. We men will get what we want. We have the power. Cheers. Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. Email profhugodegaris@yahoo.com. Website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. YouTube channel name De Garis Masculist MGTOW Flyers. Ciao.